one, like with the kids on the trampoline.
Okay, we can call meeting to order. We stand for pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Approval of agenda. Any additions, deletions?
I'll have a few items to, depending on the manager covers all the things on my list, my questions might be short.
All right.
Move to approve the agenda.
Support. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carried. Review and approve minutes.
I move we approve the minutes for the regular meeting June 27th, 2024.
Support.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Bills. Accounts payable. Regular $459,488. EFT $73,483.28 for a total of $532,972.16.
Move to approve.
Support.
Any discussion?
Maybe a moment to look at it.
Did we get our mower back from the repair shop yet that needed the new engine?
Not yet.
I see here we bought some gravel patch from Stone Co. I thought we were using our own gravel.
Moscow.
That's for Moscow Township. They donate 700 tons, and Moscow purchases 300 tons. And
Okay.
Does, in the notes, does it say Moscow or is it?
It says Litchfield
But
gravel
that's
patch.
Litchfield. Litchfield, that was last year, they purchased their own, they
Oh,
already
okay.
purchased it.
we told them from this point on, because they'd already made arrangements for this year.
Okay.
From this point on, they got to come through us to.
So we paid for it, but they reimburse us,
Yeah.
is that
Yes.
versus paying them directly?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry,
And Moscow will be the same when that, because they might not be on there yet.
it's not.
Because they get the free amount and then Moscow buys so much, but they buy it from Stone Co.
Yes.
versus using ours. Okay.
Very good. Been moved and seconded to pay the bills. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion
So is this EFT part of the bills or the payroll?
Yes.
It's part of the bills.
Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. I need to get it quite that close.
Give me a shock there. I'm gonna sign something and you yank it out of my hand.
Sorry.
No, don't sign that.
July 3rd for a total of $140,217.28.
I move we pay the payroll of $140,217.28.
Support.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All done. Treasurer's report.
Beginning cash and investment balance is $2,459,718.25. Total receipts is $742,018.36. Total disbursements is $673,189.44. Bonds and escrow, $10,250. CD reserve for 2 trucks is $651,282.82. Ending available fund balance is $1,867,014.35. And outstanding accounts payable, we have a credit of $1,143.61.
Any questions? If not, stand by your time. Thank you. Public comment. Yes.
I just wonder if anybody went out to see the drainage problem on Russ Dig in Reading?
Yes, we did.
Okay,
We talked to the residents out there and gonna work on getting the
oh, good, okay,
situation for that.
great, thank you.
Alan.
Reading Township. I only received one call this week. Eva over at 2781 Grant in Banker. And she's complaining about her yard being flooded. By the time I got over there, the county was already over there working on it. I'm just bringing it up for her. Again, she contacted me this morning. She was very appreciative of the road commission being out there. She did hire a company to come out and pump 50,000 gallons of water back into the lake. So I told her I would share that information with you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes.
Yeah, there's a guy on Bankers Road. You want me to stand up?
No, you're fine.
There's a guy on Bankers Road. He's just west of the railroad tracks. There's kind of low land on the north side of Bankers Road. He was talking to me. I'm just more or less the messenger. He just flooded out quite a bit. And I got looking around, and his spot is the low spot, heading east and heading west. It all comes in his front yard. And just across the road, there's a bunch of cattails, some lowland. There's no culvert there. No way to drain. I don't know if you undermine the road and put a 8-inch tile or something like that, anything to get him drained off, or I don't, should the drain commission get involved, or?
Where's the address?
I'd get back with you on that, but it's on Bankers Road, west of the railroad tracks. If you keep looking on the north side of the road, you'll see a low spot in there, and it's probably flooded. I just didn't have a chance to get there today. I was wanted to swing back before the meeting and see if it's still flooded. I'm sure it is.
I'm sure it is after all that.
Yeah, but there's no culvert there. Really should be.
There could be, and it's just blocked.
But I walked over there and looked,
Okay.
and I couldn't find one.
All right.
And,
If by chance we could get an address, we'll go out there and look in that area.
I can do that and bring it to the next meeting or something.
Just call, text.
Okay, well, can I get your contact info, or you wanna?
Well, just call into the office and.
Call the
Okay.
office.
All right, I can do that. I'll try to
She
get you.
can take down and give it to me, and
Let's see if I can get you.
we'll put it in as a service request, that way it gets tracked too.
Something else too, I was heading up the Crip Road this morning. I had a raccoon, I live trapped, it was doing damage, and I was taking him out on Crip Road and release it. And one of your guys was mowing the grass on the side of the road, and it was curved, and I'm coming up, the sun's low. Here he is, so I start slowing down, but he's backing up. And I had to hit the brakes a little bit, and that coon went sliding forward and hit the bulkhead in the back of my truck. So I don't know, maybe, I didn't detect him backing up right away, cause it's in the distance, you know, and there's somebody coming, I couldn't pass him, and I just had to hit the brakes a little extra hard.
Okay.
It's no big deal, I don't wanna be a complainer or anything, but when I went down Tripp Road, you can see where Tripp Road widens, and people are trying to get around truck holes, and those truck holes must have been there for a long time, because the road is hourglass shape.
Okay.
Wide, and it's just before you get to the dog pound, it's bad, it's real good speed bumps in there to keep you slowing down. So I'm surprised somebody hasn't said something about that.
They may have, but there may be a service request already on it, and they call in a lot, and
Yeah,
the
if you
service
went
request
from there down to Perrin Road, turn around, came back, you covered everything, cause I went all the way down to the bridge, and everything's fine from there on. A couple of washouts, but between there and the bridge, which would be expected after the rain we just had. But other than that, I guess that's about everything.
Right.
Alright, thanks.
Yes.
Yes, I'm Ken Dolmer from Little Long Lake, Montgomery. And we have been fighting, and I got some folders here with the township to get our road graded and taken care of. This, they came in and graded it, and this is the gravel, if you wanna call it that they put on our street. It's totally a mud hole. We have back access to our properties, and I brought this along. It's a private drive, and that's what I put in the private drive. That's held up fine. I've been in there 3 years now. But that's what we're putting up with. We have grass on the lakeside. And then we have our street and our houses. That grass I consider a filter strip for the lake. So we really don't want like a catch basin to catch any water, because that's gonna go straight into the lake. But we would like to have some stone that would hold up and not strictly just mud. And they came through and graded it with a belly mount blade on their truck. And that is part of the issue also. If they brought it in a grader and graded it correctly, we wouldn't have the potholes like we have in the one picture. So Dwayne, we was at a township meeting last night, Dwayne Carlson told us to bring that to your attention and see if you folks would help them out. They say they're short on funds. They don't have a grader. They said they couldn't afford it. If you went with 2 townships having 1 grader, would that be, and there's no full-time maintenance in Camden Township, so I just brought that up to see what we could do about it.
Well, we do grade with a grader. Every road gets hit with a grader every year when we go around with Brian. We do go in front of them with trucks and just to try to scrape it up to make things a little bit better. But every time we go through, we do run 2 graders and a truck to shape all the roads up. We can address this by any means, but a lot of times people say, oh, you just did it with a truck. Well, we've got trucks out there just trying to scrape it up and do the best they can, because they can't cut the holes out. They can just kind of scrape it in. But when we come around to lay the gravel and we come around to brine, the graders are used and the graders hit every road. So,
Have we brined Camden yet?
No,
Camden is,
the last one.
it's right now, we're getting ready to do it. It's the last township. We've done
Brining.
everything, because they're gonna get the gravel,
They
they're
haven't
gonna
laid the new gravel yet either.
they're gonna scrape, they're gonna re-gravel, then the brine will come through. So, we started in Litchfield, and we went across the county, and we've been making, and we're at Camden now, the last township, this week. This water didn't help us none here, so.
There's 4 farmers, there's 25 houses on that street.
Okay.
There's 4 of them that's farmers, and I'm one of them. So we know a little bit of what goes on the roads and holding the grade. We would like to keep that berm on the east side of the street towards the lake to slow that water down so it can actually filter through the yards to the lake. The way it is right now, you got everything brought to the center, like you would a normal back road or dirt road. But the problem is, that's holding the water towards the house side. And if it had grade to it, it wouldn't hold that water back from going to the berm and filtering into the street.
Well, we're gonna take a look at it and see, but I don't normally like to run water across the road, because that just washes them out. So
Correct.
if you
But you
super it,
got-
and they're coming from here, it's going across the road, everywhere's washing.
You got a lot of dirt roads in our area, and you have a berm edger sitting out there that looks like it's brand new, hadn't been used. Now, why couldn't we use that to do these roads? It's called a ditch for one particular reason, for that water to run off of. The crown in the center. That's gonna keep roads from washing somewhat. I understand where you're coming from.
We are doing deburr.
I don't understand why you have the equipment and it looks like new, hasn't been used.
Well, the equipment you're talking about, we bought from Lenawee County, that's probably about 20-some years old.
Yeah.
And we are using it, so,
You are using it.
yes. We're doing
Why
deburr,
is it
we're doing
sitting out
deburr.
there, why is it setting out by the building that hasn't been used yet this year?
Well, it has, but, we've got projects that the townships have paid for, and we're working on those right now.
Okay,
Grading's one of them. Grading, Litchfield,
Litchfield, Fayette.
Fayette, yeah. So we are out there using it. There's 587 miles of gravel road that we've got.
They Camden Township said that they had 36 miles in the township last night, but no maintenance man. Part-time.
Townships don't have.
Townships don't have maintenance.
They don't have permanent maintenance,
Nowhere,
so
nowhere.
it's totally counted.
Yes.
So we've been going to the wrong place all the time.
Yeah, 100%.
Why wasn't we told that? We've been going to the township meeting for the last 2 years.
All maintenance needs to come through us, whether it's a primary road, a local road, a gravel road, even the MDOT roads, we do maintenance on here. So unless it's private, every certified road needs to come to us. And we'll do a work order, and just like anybody else calls in.
Well, I sure appreciate that. Dwayne's gonna get a hold of me and come out. If you two could work it out,
Sure,
Come
we just
on.
talked to him yesterday.
come out and take a look at it at the same time.
Okay. And just so you know, I just talked to him yesterday, we were discussing what material they're wanting to put on the roads and when we're gonna do it, because as soon as it dries up from all this rain, that's when you'll see the gravel and scraping in Camden.
Is it possible we get something other than the mud that I showed you in that bag?
Well, our gravel that we had processed is what we're gonna use, but we also had some straight stone crushed to where it's probably not as big as what you have there, it's called 3/4 minus. So it's 3/4 inch or smaller, but it's solid stone, it's not gravel, it's got clay and sand and everything in it, so we can use that on some of the spots to like fill in the mud holes and stuff, and then eventually gravel will go on top of that.
Okay,
But
appreciate it very much.
not to interrupt, but if that's a local road, what road are we talking about again?
It's Maple Street, Montgomery.
Maple Street, okay. But when it comes to, if you're gonna put limestone on that
Yeah.
No, not
gravel, no, I know,
Okay.
but
There's
if you
two other
want
streets.
stone, if you
Sure.
want stone on that gravel road of any sort, that is a township issue, that's not a road commission issue.
If it's a small spot like this little corner here,
It's not,
we'll take that and do it under maintenance. If it's like you're talking the whole road, then we would have to do a contract with the township, or it'd be with the township, but we'd have to have a matching source.
there
to do
is
something
two
like
different
that.
streets, cause for some some reason, there's actually 3 different street names there. I never understood that one.
What are they?
But,
Cherry.
Cherry
Cherry,
and
I was
Oak.
gonna say, I thought cherry.
Cherry and oak, yeah.
Cherry and Oak,
Cherry, oak, and maple.
yeah. Now, why they named it Cherry Oak and Maple instead of
Probably
just
there were cherry
Maple?
trees, oak trees, and maple trees growing there.
Throw an apple in there.
Here we go.
Thank you, folks, appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for coming.
Somebody, yes,
Clint Slusher, I know Mike and Gary. My problem is, and it's interesting, you say you guys gotta keep up with maintenance, but yet you wanna charge the township. My problem is, the ditches, there is no ditch in the roads. I live on Wildwood Road.
Okay.
And I also own property on Post Road. And here, been quite a few years ago, when John Adams was a grader driver, he come to me and asked if he could put a ditch on the north side of that road there and on the south side, because the water was coming from the south side across the north side at the bottom of the hill and washing that out. And I told him to go right ahead. And I've kept it mowed, but over the years, we got a ditch or a bank
Burn.
burned.
Yep.
And it's just, now there's water holes and everything else in the road because water can't get off. And that water on the south side is coming back across on the north side. And I would like to have it ditched, because I like, on our property, I keep the roadsides mowed. And it's just, I travel the roads, I don't like all the chuck holes and water and potholes and everything. I suppose I could move to a blacktop road, but
I live on a gravel road myself, so.
but
So I agree with you, there's a lot of berms out there over the years, they've been just neglected, or we're trying to do as many as we can each year. We're still working on the ones, like I said, the townships have already done contracts for, want us to do, 2, 3, 4 miles of road. So we're working on those as much as we can. Every road in this county needs berm taken off,
I agree with you.
paved or gravel.
I agree with that.
So it's a matter of being able to get them. It's gonna be a long process to try to get.
What about, they make a machine that takes that gravel back out and you put it back on the road?
Depending on what's in it, yes. Some, the gravel's been plowed over there, that's like mainly gravel. That can easily be brought back in. If it's got a lot of organics in it, we've gotta haul it off and stockpile and put new gravel on. Cause otherwise it just turns into a big mud hole, snot hole.
Right. But is that a possibility of renting or getting a machine like that to do?
Oh, we got one, that's what he was talking about.
That's what he's talking about.
We call it tater because everybody says it looks like a potato digger, but really it's a force feed loader where the grader will cut it out into the road and it makes a berm and it just goes down and picks that up and belts it into a truck.
Okay.
And drives it off. And then they can come in and do new gravel.
What I was talking about, it looks like a disc out there, which is an edger, it brings that gravel back into the road.
Oh, you're just talking about a disc.
Whatever, yes,
Goes on the back of a tractor and looks like a farm disc.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, we got a few of those too that they use them whenever they can. Right now we're out mowing with the tractors, but
Cause on Wildwood, they dumped a little bit of gravel the other day. And that rain the other night, which I know,
yep.
it come across the road and washed across there. If we just,
I
if we
totally
just get
understand
the
what you're
roads
saying.
maintained, where they're ditched and the water
Yep.
flows where it's supposed to.
So right now they're trying to key on where the projects and if there's specific water holes like that, if we just cut that berm, get that
that water off the road, might not be the whole road, but if we can start addressing some of those spots will help until we can't do the whole road. But it took decades to get here like this, it's gonna take decades to fix it, cause some of those ditches that you're talking about have trees that big around them now. That's how long it's been.
Well, yeah, and I
And they're
agree those trees need to go too.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a safety hazard there.
So if you wanna go up and look at like Sterling Road, Genesee Road, some of those roads that we're doing like that, that's getting the trees removed, the new ditches, the berm off, new gravel. That's what we're working on right now, is those contracts that the townships have pitched in. Now, when you say we build a township, we don't build it, or we don't charge the township, we just have to have a matching source per state law. So we can do up to like 50%, but we have to have a source from somewhere to cover that other 50%. Whether that comes from a township, a grant, a business, a special assessment, just individuals, we have to have that in order to do major projects like that.
So who would write the grant?
Township.
Almost anybody could, but I have never seen a grant for a gravel road. Just to be honest with you.
So you don't know if that works or not?
I wouldn't guarantee nothing. The only grants I've ever seen really are for, and that's part of the downfall of the whole funding system, are for primary roads or state highways.
Yep.
Even the local paved roads, you're normally never gonna get a grant for that unless it's like a streetscape thing in a city or village, where you're kind of beautifying everything together. You can get those, but.
So what's the best way to get your money in that?
I would say, definitely talk with the township, because they need to know what's going on with the roads there, but.
But that needs to be done back in March or so.
Yes. But sometimes the best way is that you'd call the special assessment or something, get all the people on that road to get together, and sometimes you can divide that up pretty good, where it's not that bad, especially for a gravel road.
Okay.
Those are the cheaper roads to fix, and so it doesn't quite take as much. If we take half of it, it doesn't take as much split between 10, 12 people to put a couple, 3 inches of gravel and, do all that.
Okay.
If I may interrupt,
Sure.
if you're gonna talk to your township, you should talk to them like in December, cause we sit down in January and talk about road
Okay.
projects.
And more than likely, this year, we're gonna sit down in December
Yes, so
Okay.
and talk with them.
I
So,
do it in November.
well before, I might even be putting that IED in their head now,
I would attend every meeting and let them know how you feel.
I do send a few of them, so
Yeah.
they know how I feel.
I'm a Reading Township supervisor, and roads are very important to us. I have a map, and I put up, when somebody calls me, I tag it. These are the complaints we get, so that when it comes time for us to negotiate, we can make a good decision.
Okay.
So is that Wildwood Road in Camden Township or Reading Township that you're speaking
In
of?
Camden.
Camden, okay.
It better be in Camden.
There you go.
I wish Reading.
Right.
would
I wish
come
you were on the Reading
downtown.
side, right?
What's really frustrating for our street is there's 25 houses on that street. And the tax money that each individual pays in, we pay in a lot of taxes. And we're not getting any results.
Are we talking property taxes?
property taxes don't go to roads.
They don't go to roads.
The only funding we get is from gas tax and registration fees on your vehicles. Everything else goes to other.
Well, that's not necessarily true, because the property tax does go to the township, and if the township decides.
But they don't have to spend that on roads,
Right.
that's not dedicated.
But if they
to
do
roads.
decide to spend it on the roads, then yes.
The township has to find a place to get that money.
Correct.
Usually comes out of our general fund, so it takes away from other things.
Unless you have a road millage.
Unless you have a road bridge millage, which we did get approved last year.
In Reading Township.
Yes.
And I don't know if I assume Camden Township does not have one.
No, they don't.
And if you look at your property taxes, what you pay to your township is a very small portion of what you're paying in property taxes in total, just so that you're aware.
They made the statement 6% comes from Hillsdale to the township. Okay. That's what we were told last night.
Well, you can look at your property taxes, and it'll tell you how many mills you're paying to the township, and it'll tell you the total dollar amount that you're paying to the township. That will not be on your summer tax bill, that will be, should be on your winter tax bill. So then you'll know how much you're paying to the township. And so that goes to the general fund, they can opt to spend some of that money on roads, but as a percentage of your property taxes, it's quite small.
So funding in general just flat out stinks in Michigan. I mean, when it comes to local road, primary roads and state highways are pretty good taken care of. But when it comes to the locals, that's what they're arguing about in Lansing right now, is how to get more funding for the local roads, which would be the local primary or local paved and local gravel roads. There's just not a funding source for it, really. It's gotta.
If it was Detroit or Flint or Grand Rapids,
Right.
that's where the money goes.
Big cities.
But by all means, with any of these issues, call in, make sure a service request is done here so that it's on file, and we can track that service request to, like whether it's potholes, whether it's a mud hole that needs to get fixed or something. We can do a lot of stuff under maintenance. We just can't go in and do like this entire road unless we have that matching source. So we can do spots if you call in.
I have another question. There, like I told you, there's 4 farmers that live on that street. We do have equipment. We've asked for the last 2 years through the township to get something done. What kind of trouble would we get in if we tried to repair that ourselves?
We would prefer you don't. Solely because of liability. If you were to, say, cut the ditch too deep or something, and somebody ran off and got in a wreck, we're all liable. And so, we gotta watch what we put on the roads, we gotta know what we're putting on the roads, we gotta know what we're doing on the right-of-ways, because we're still liable for it.
So how do we we're getting a runaround, I feel.
Well, when it comes, if we
How
have
do we get
funding,
something done?
if we had funding, we could do more, but we're doing as much as we can.
There's one area in there, it's as big as a car, and I should have took a picture of that one. Now, I realize everybody got a 2-inch rain.
But those spots like that, you say as big as a car, to me, that's still just minor. Let's get a call in, let us know, we can have some trucks and gravel and whatever put out there and try to take care of that before it gets to be a bust.
Have you ever made a request to us to do that? The repair? Or do you go to the township?
We were to the commissioners meeting.
Okay.
County commissioners.
Oh, the county commissioners.
Yeah, the county commissioners.
No.
They don't do nothing here. So before you
Yeah,
leave
we found
today,
that out.
you can talk to Karen and let her know what role the issues and she can do a service request for you.
Okay.
The lady at the front desk there at the glass, she can take and put it in the computer system, you give her a service request, and then that gets sent out to the foreman and the superintendents and to have the guys go out and fix them. And that's how we track.
Should I do that for Trip Road then?
Everything. If there's a small, I don't wanna say it minor, but, I mean, even if you call it the size of a car, we'll go out there and fix it. We just need to,
You need to know.
we don't always know, even though we run these roads a lot, we don't know where every spot's at. Call in and we can track it and.
So if we go to a township meeting, all they do basically just transfer the complaint to you guys.
Yes, and then we have to put it in the computer system.
So we might as well.
Just bypass the township.
Yeah, just call.
Yes.
Sure, just call.
Each
Okay.
township kind of does it differently. As you can see, Reading Township, their supervisor is constantly following up on road complaints in his township. And he's here at these meetings and he kind of updates us as to status, whether we missed something or we didn't. So each township supervisor does things differently. I don't know what Camden Township supervisor does.
Well,
But they need to know so that if they
Yes.
do plan on road projects, they can kind of target money for that.
Correct.
Yes.
You like Wildwood north of Crawford? Go check Blair Road north of Reading. These are major projects. It took a lot of money, a lot of negotiation.
And we commissioners do go to township board meetings. Each commissioner represents a certain amount of townships. I attend a lot of township meetings.
Are you a foreman?
I'm the manager.
He's manager.
You're the manager.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's the guy down there on the end?
I just said.
Chairman of the board.
So if you got any problems, this is Bob, I'm Bob, that Bob you talk to.
Okay.
We're both Bob G, so you can't use that.
Bob and his other brother Bob.
I need,
Okay.
means you folks are liable for any road work. I do have a small dump truck. I have taken, it holds 4 tons, so I have taken 8 tons of stone up there and put in some of these potholes trying to fill them in.
I didn't hear that.
So,
I
Nobody knows that.
I've done that on my own.
Please just
So
call
I'm
us.
just trying to be honest
And
with
let us.
you.
Yep. All right,
But yeah, we can fix those small.
because we have had that issue in the past where people actually put material on it, wound up being stones about this big.
Yeah.
Then we had a real issue.
It's a stone, I got the same
I understand
thing that
that.
we put in the back street.
That was supposed to be kind of what they put in, and they got a few loads that weren't that, and it wound up being these big stones, and next thing you know, that's a huge safety
It's a
issue.
process,
Right.
it's a problem.
That's why we gotta know what's going on the roads, and if it comes through us, we know.
Well, we have to put on what meets MDOT standards too, as far as the size of the stone and the type of gravel.
But we, like I said, we basically got both that, pretty much identical to what you got there. We can use the stone to fill in and then the gravel to top it.
Is there any way you could assist volunteers?
What's that?
Is there any way you could assist volunteers if you want to do that? Maybe they can come here and get the stone and just kind of.
There's still a while.
Yeah.
don't know how that would work.
That's
be too high.
Yeah, and then, yeah, there's a lot to that, but it's probably just, especially on the small maintenance kind of stuff, let us know, we'll work it into a schedule.
When that stone that I took up there, it was only, I wanna say, $400 to $600 worth of stone. You know, it's out of my pocket, but
Well, like the stone that we had crushed, I think we figure it's running about 10 something a ton. So we got a fairly good price to do it.
yeah, you got it cheaper than I did.
But we had it made, so it's ours sitting there, you know, but, all right.
All
But
right,
yes,
we gotta move on. Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
very
Thank you
much.
for your time.
Thank you for coming in.
All right, Bob, you're up.
is that everybody?
I think so. Did anybody else have a comment?
Okay, just wanna make sure it didn't cut nobody up. Okay, I was told I had to be quick today, so. Let's
I didn't
see.
talk about
Got a few things we need to go over. I'll do the operations update first, which is what the guys are working on out there on the roads. The paving, we still have about 1 week left to do on North Adams Road. And that will probably, other than some small paver patches, you know, will be about it for the paving this year. Ditching, we are working on, we did work on Cole Road, it's complete except for right in front of Borson's Farm. I was out there during the big rain yesterday and it's working pretty good, we're gonna have to shape a little bit there. And then on the opposite side of the hill, do some deberm and stuff there to get the water off the road. But what they did with the cross tube and the ditching out there worked pretty good, and it was flowing heavily.
So did we put in a new cross
We
tube?
put a cross tube from the corner of Borson's driveway that kind of angles across the road, and then there's a ditch line that runs to the wetlands down there.
And that, there had never been a tube there before.
No, I used to run across the road and watch the road out. And I would go across the road, then flood the guy's field out on the other side. So every bit of it stayed in the ditch after that big rain, so I think it'll handle what we got coming. As far as the gravel and limestone patching, We're, like I said, we're working into Camden right now. They did a little bit the other day before the rain, but as soon as this kind of dries up, we'll finish doing and they did left to go with gravel, so they'll be getting like 1,500 yards of gravel. We'll put that on, then the graders are,
Are they getting any limestone?
no, they're only getting, we canceled the contract for limestone, cause they signed 2 of them. And you guys signed 2 of them too, and we're like, no, you're supposed to be limited to one or the other for 1,500 yards.
Okay.
They signed both of them and then wound up not getting caught, we signed them all, but I talked to Dwayne Carlson and he elected to not do the limestone this year because they get more gravel for a cheaper price.
Yeah.
So they're gonna do gravel this year and that'll get laid here in the next week or about the next week. We're scraping. We're done with Cambria and Cambria and half of Reading's gonna get re-scraped. There's some issues that they need to fix. But we're done with, other than that, all the way to there, and then we'll keep going, and the Brine's right behind them. Reading was half done as of today, I think, with Brine. So they're gonna finish up Reading and then follow right behind the graders. We haven't done any more crack seals since last meeting. Let's see. As far as projects, we had our asset management plan submitted. They replied back that we met all the 7 requirements of Public Act 325, and will recommend approval of our asset management plan at the next state meeting. We're gonna start the paint for the paved roads. We talked to the contractor on the 9th and they're getting everything around to start doing that. There'll be like a round of paint that gets done now, but anything that we're working on, especially the chip seal for this year, there'll be a second round in the fall that paints that kind of stuff. Let's see, as far as the structure, Elm Road, we're still waiting on the hydraulic study, but we have talked to Scavina at Eagle, and he'll make his recommendation and approve the permit as soon as we get that. Territorial Road, that's the culvert that's east of Bird Lake Road. We're just waiting on a couple more stream bed surveys, and then we'll submit that again to Eagle. Doesn't sound like there's anything that's gonna hold that up. We just need to get that survey. We've also asked him to look at the culvert on Bacon Road east of Rumsey. He did call back and acknowledge that he is getting backed up, and once he gets caught up, he will be out to make a recommendation, and then we can apply for the permit after that. West Sock Trail, we spoke with Michigan Paving. They're gonna start the dirt work. Concord Excavating gonna start the dirt work July 22nd. They'll be pulverizing on the 24th, and I believe they said they were planning on being done by the 10th of August. So that should go fairly quickly once it starts.
Did the supervisor ever get back to you?
Yes, I talked to him.
Okay.
Yep.
Because they were under the idea that they never signed a contract. I don't know where they got it either. I told them, I said, I signed a contract, and so did the rest of the road commission board, you guys' name was on that
Before we got
contract.
it, yeah. All right, but yes, I did talk to him the other day.
Okay.
And then the territorial road bridges, according to the inspectors and management, they're still looking at a mid-August open date for that. So, at least we're getting close on that. Let's see. Hog Creek, we're still just waiting on the bridge to show up. As soon as it shows up, we'll start, and then hopefully 2 to 3 weeks after it shows up, we can have it done.
I think you told us once you was thinking like first or second week of September.
Yeah, I was originally would like mid-August, but it looks like it'll probably be mid-September. All right, for some of the things I got listed, well, I'll hit a couple other things. Been talking with Translease, they're the company that we leased the 2 Western Stars from. They're gonna get us the payoff of the second truck so that we can, maybe on the next pay, AP, or depending on paperwork, how long it takes, but we'll pay 1 truck off, and then we're gonna continue to lease the 3rd truck for like another 3 to 4 months and pay it off in November. And that's the plan for that, as long as the budget holds.
Agreed.
And they're okay with that too. They're supposed to be getting us the payoff for the second truck right now. Right now, we've got when we have a vehicle accident, say like, a lot of times it's more in the winter time, but when one of our vehicles hits another vehicle or gets in an accident like that, we normally will have the driver do a breathalyzer test and go and have a drug urinalysis done. Just to cover us, make sure we're totally in the clear. So normally, we worked out with the sheriff's department that at any accident like that, all we gotta do is request to have the breathalyzer done. The officer on the scene right there will do it. We take a picture of the results, and that's it. In the case that it's not the sheriff's department, it might be a city or village or the state police that might not either want to do it or don't know to do it. We're looking at purchasing our own breathalyzer, and our safety manager is certified to use it, and so, and it'd just kind of be a backup. It could either be him and or, anyone that can do that, just to kind of keep from having to try to send them to the acute care or whatever, and when they're not open, that doesn't help. We've got time limits on when the alcohol has to be taken and when the drug has to be taken. It's like 8 hours and 32 hours or something like that. So the quicker the better. So it's in the $600 ballpark, so it's not drastic. And the sheriff's department has already said that they would help with making sure it's calibrated monthly and all that. So I just wanted to brief you that I'm looking into that. And
How long does one of those breathalyzer equipment last? Year? 2
Yeah.
years?
Oh,
10
years.
years? 100 years?
yeah, they just have to keep calibrating them, and I guess I don't know on the.
And there's no
Longevity.
computer software updating of them or anything?
That's where the sheriff's department will do a calibration.
Okay.
And if it needs updated, he does it right there.
Okay.
But I think they last years and years and years.
That's just to give us the option of having the capability of doing it if we need to. I would prefer the on-scene officer to do it, but if need be, we can do it, if we elect to go that route. Let's see. Okay, I've got a few things to go over here. There's a new public act that was enacted, would have been, I think, Monday of this week. It's Public Act 72.
Okay.
Which now requires, and it's effective immediately, now requires motorists to stay back at least 200 feet from an active snowplow when moving and at least 20 feet behind when it's stopped. So if something happens in that distance, the liability is not going to be on us, it's going to be on the motorist. They can do a legal overtake and pass, because of that 200 foot behind them, but if they're like following behind them, they're supposed to stay 200 foot back, and at a stop, 20 foot back. 20 foot still isn't enough. You can't see a small car behind these trucks anyway, but it helps.
Neither one of them is enough.
It helps anyway. So just so you know, and CRA is asking for our assistance in getting the word out to the public, to the drivers, to know how to, react and, know about it, to the board, to everybody. So we'll try to put it you know, reminders, especially coming up to winter, on Facebook and the website, and have a little briefing for the drivers and that kind of stuff, but just wanted to let you know that.
What do you mean by a legal overtake?
Well, if they're out there plowing, and whether it's a 4-lane, which we don't have a lot of 4-lane here, or they're just going down the road and somebody feels they can do better than the plow, a lot of people will go out and pass them, and as long as it's a legal passing, you know, that way when they're coming up to pass them, they're probably gonna be within that 200 foot. They can go out and pass and do it, but if they're just following behind them, they've gotta follow back 200 foot. If that makes sense.
Fire truck's probably one.
I'm not sure. So anyway, that's a new public act that took effect. There's a bridge saying mid-August. Let's see. We have, and I don't know if this was in your packet or not, the ballot for the CRA bylaws. Which basically CRA sent out a whole packet here, and I don't know is that it? No, that's legislative party. So
I know she's,
this is more, I think this is gonna be more of a,
I didn't put it in the folders, but it was scanned
It was
because it
scanned,
was
yes.
huge.
Yep,
Yeah.
I saw it in the email.
okay. So anyway, they sent like a red line version.
Yep.
And then
A clean copy.
a clean copy of what it would be. I guess I would just say we need to see if you want to review it, see if there's anything that you think they missed or need to change, or they're asking for everybody's comment.
How soon?
Let's see.
Must be returned by August 23rd.
No, leave that.
Your county's
Yeah.
ballot must be returned.
So there's plenty of time, but I just wanted to get it up to you.
Sure.
If you got any questions as you're going through it, I can probably answer some, but these are really just the bylaws for County Road Association. Alright. Legislative priorities. Again, this is CRA putting out what they feel is their legislative priorities, what they're gonna try to, the Roads Plus is the political action arm of CRA, and they go to the Capitol and they try to, you know, get bills passed for, and for the road commissions and things that take advantage for us. And so these are all the different, things that they're intending to do, and at the bottom of one, it'll say like, on each one, there's, how many there are, there's 37 items included in this, and so at the bottom of each item, it'll say CRA supports legislation to blah, 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 and it'll talk about that section. So this is really to let you know what they're intending to basically key on for this year. If you want to key on something more, we can post that to them too. They keep updating this every year. Some years, some things stay on there all the time until something gets fixed, or they change different things that they're looking at for that year, depending on what's going on. Let's see. Then we also got another one from CRA that is the notice of allowable increase to CRA transportation permits. So our permits haven't been per se updated or adjusted in quite a while, and it doesn't match what CRA is suggesting. So they have a whole fee schedule of they would like every county to adopt. You don't have to adopt it exactly, but I'll be combining this with our existing to make sure we're covering everything, but trying to go to their fee schedule. And I'll be bringing that to a future board member meeting This is to take effect October 1. So I got a little time to try to combine it all, we get it approved, so everything takes effect October 1 like everybody else. And as long as you're okay with it, for the most part, it bumps up quite a few of the permit costs. There's 3 that are mandated by the state that we really can't change, which are transportation permits, are single move, annual move, and super move, which are like $50 for the single move and $100 for the other 2. And those are set by the state, and we can't lower or raise them. All the rest of them we can adjust if we want to, but they're trying to get a standard permit fee across the state, so, haulers have a reasonable expectation of what they're gonna be charged in each county. But
Well, I guess my comment would be, I'm not necessarily enthused about us having the same kind of a fee schedule that Wayne and Oakland and Macomb County have. I mean, for example, okay, I'll just use this as an illustration. My mother passed away 2 days ago, okay, in Branch County. So to get a certified death certificate in the rural counties costs $15 for the first one, and for every additional one after that, it's $5. But if she had died in Oakland or Wayne or Macomb County, the initial one would be like $50. And then the additional copies would be quite a bit more than 5. So, the way those fat cats live there is a little different than the rest of us in the state.
Well, I think, to be honest with you, these are fairly close anyway, especially when it comes to our routine, like driveway permits and right-of-way permits, that kind of stuff. They're fairly close, within 10 to $15. It's some of the it's more of the big companies, like consumers and the wireless companies and that are running, utilities down the right-of-way. Those are where they're more than what we've been charging, but it's not necessarily more than what a lot of the other counties are already charging. It's just never been adjusted since like 2012 here. So 12 years ago is what these fees are based on here. But it does need to bump up to match that. But I will combine this with our existing one and let you know where we stand. I can even show you before and after kind of thing. And then I'll bring it to you. One way or another, we need to approve a new permit schedule. Exactly what it entails. We don't, like I said, we don't have to follow this, but they're encouraging everybody to be as close as possible. So there could be something where one county charges a little more, the other charges a little less. And, that's totally up to you. I mean, that's each board's decision, but they're trying to standardize as much as they can. And I think that's all I got. Unless you got any questions.
This legislative priorities that you gave us, did we only get every other page?
There's a front back.
Yeah, we only got every other page. 1, 3, 5, yeah, we didn't get the whole thing.
So when Karen scanned it in, she just,
Yeah, she didn't get the back side of every page, so.
So I'll
So
have.
we only have half the information.
I thought yours was looking a little thin there, but.
I know, I was like, all my stuff's
There's
really
page 2.
Yep, that's what it is. We can print those out.
Page 4 is the fully buried snow storage.
Okay.
All right, that's it, Bob?
That's all I've got.
Old business. Gary, did you have anything on old?
So the territorial road bridges, they're saying now it's gonna be like mid-August.
Mid-August.
So,
Originally it was last week of July, first week of August, so they're not far off. But